Hi everybody. This is going to be a short tutorial on some of the features that are in Faststone Image Viewer. I will double click to open the program, and I have already navigated to my file folder that has the image that I would like to work with. So I will double click on this image, and that will bring me up to a full screen view. Just want to show you that if you use your cursor and cursor all the way over to the left, you get a, they call it a fly out menu. If you cursor all the way over to the right, you get another fly out menu. If you cursor to the top, you see your thumbnails and your files. And if you cursor to the bottom, you've got a list of all of the functions here that you can click on. I usually don't use this. I usually go to the menu over here on the left. So now that we've got this image up, the first thing I want to do is show you some of the editing features in Faststone. And some of the areas we're going to work on in this image are, number one, some of the areas here are pretty dark. We're going to want to lighten those up. We've got some distracting elements in the picture that, although are not really bad, the image would be a lot better if we could remove those distracting elements. Up here at the top in the corner, you can see there's some kind of a shadow. We need to remove that. Here in the middle of the image on the horizon, I don't know if that's a boat or something, but that's a little bit distracting. Over here we have a couple of poles coming out of the water. That's a slight bit distracting. And right here we have, I don't know, it looks like a light that is defective. And I'm going to show you how to remove that. Now, when we remove these items, we're going to be using the Clone and Heal tool, which is right here. So I will click on that, and that brings up a full screen view, a 100% crop. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate this. And you can see the circle on the screen. I can change the size of that circle up here where it says size. And I'm going to make this quite a bit bigger. We can go all the way up to a size of 50. And you can see now that circle is pretty big. The hardness factor, I would like to show you exactly what that does. I'm going to set that at 0 first. Okay, and what cloning does, it actually will copy a part of the image to a different part of the image. The first thing we need to do is select a part of the image that we actually want to copy from. So I will hold down the Control key and click. And now this area that the circle is in will be copied to some other part of the image. And you can see here that it's copying that particular place. So if I just hold down the left mouse key and move it, you can see I'm actually painting. Okay, well, I really don't want that there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control Z, which is the undo button, and now I have undone that. That was at a hardness of 0. Now if I go to a hardness of 1 and I do the same thing, notice how there's no feathering. It's got a very hard edge, and usually I don't like that. So again, I'm going to use Control Z. I just wanted to show you what that would do. So let's go ahead and clone out this item on the horizon, and I am going to go ahead and reduce the feathering, or increase the feathering. I'm going to use 0.5, and you can see down here how the circle is actually feathered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually clone an area. I'm going to clone the horizon from right here. I'm going to hold the Control key down and tap on the horizon again. And now I'm going to come over here, and you can see I'm actually copying from the other part of the image, and I'm going to left click, and now that becomes permanent. I'm going to do the same thing over here where these poles are sticking out of the water. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, again, I'm going to choose the area that I want to copy. So I'll hold down the control key, tap the left mouse key, and now I can come on over here and copy the portion of the image over that pipe that's sticking out of the water. So if I click the left mouse key, that becomes permanent. I can do the same thing with the second pole, and there's just a small third pole there. I can move that up, I can click again, and I can get rid of that. So now I've gotten rid of some of the distractions. But let's go to the more difficult ones. I'm going to come over, and we're going to go over to that upper left hand corner, and we got to remove that. And here I'm going to make my feathering at the maximum. And you can see there's some clouds up here. So what I want to do is I actually want to clone in some other clouds to make it look more realistic. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm just going to try to copy this area of these clouds and put them up there in the corner. So I have my cursor here on the clouds. I'm going to hold the control key down, left tap the mouse button, and then come up here, and I'm going to hold the left mouse button down, and I'm just going to paint. I'm just going to paint in here. Paint everything in. Okay, well, it doesn't look too bad. At least that dark spot is not there. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to come down to a more difficult section here, and I want to remove this looks like a light. Okay, so I'm going to increase the hardness a bit, let's say 0.6, and I'm going to copy from where the circle is right now. Again, hold down the control, tap the left mouse button, and I'm just going to paint out some of this. Okay, alright, I'm going to copy some more, hold the control, tap the left mouse button, come in here, and get rid of some more of this. Okay. Alright, so now this is a little bit more difficult situation. I'm going to come down, and right here where the leaves are, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take, and I'm going to select that area, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to click, and I'm going to click, and that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Okay, now I just got a little piece of the blackness here that I need to get rid of. So I am going to zoom in by holding the shift key down, and while I'm holding the shift key down, I tap the plus key, which is on the upper row of the keyboard, because I want to get into some real fine detail here. I'm going to click again. Now I need to reduce the size of my circle. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to make it actually pretty small. It's still pretty big. Okay, that's a little bit too small. Okay, that's about right. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bigger first, because I am going to clone out more of this area. Okay, so I'm going to hold Control key, tap the left mouse button, and we're just going to clone out some more of this. Okay. There we go. And now I'm going to reduce my circle size some more. Okay. And I'm going to increase the hardness. This is all kind of, well, what do I want to say? Kind of subjective. It's a lot of trial and error. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Control, tap the left mouse button. And I'm just going to come here. Oh, I got some pretty jagged corners there. The hardness is too hard. I'm going to make it a little bit softer. And let's see. That's pretty good. Okay, I am just going to clone out this area around that leaf so that there's no blackness there. Okay, again, control tap the left mouse button, come down here. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Let's bring it back to showing all of the image on the screen at the same time, and I can hit the Control minus key and come on back down. Okay, and over here I can click the minus button, full screen view. I'm going to exit out of full screen view, and now we're back. Okay, so now when we're zoomed out, you look at this area and there's no way you can tell that that light was ever there, and unless you know where it is, you'd never be able to even tell that that was done. We've lost the boat on the horizon, we've lost the pipes in the water, and we've lost the corner up here, which is very good. So that's how you use the clone tool. Now the horizon is just slightly out of level, so what we want to do next is we want to actually straighten the horizon. Okay, so I'm going to click OK for my cloning operation. Then we're going to come over here and I'm going to use the straighten tool. You can see it right here. So I'm going to click on that, and now you can see how the horizon is slightly off of level. And if I take and I click on this slider, left click, and I move it, I can change the level position of the horizon. So try it right here. All right, and it's still just a tad off, so I can come over here and click one of these arrows and actually get a much finer adjustment. Okay, let's see. I go up one. That's looking pretty good right there, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now we have straightened that horizon. It looks pretty good. The next thing I want to do is I want to lighten up these dark areas. We've lost a lot of detail there. And in Faststone, under Adjust Lighting, we have a slider that allows you to brighten the shadows or darken the shadows if you wish. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up the brightness on the shadows. Now you can see how we have now got a lot of detail here. I brought that up about halfway between middle and the top. So that's looking pretty good. The highlights will do the same thing. If I want to reduce the highlights, I can bring that down. That makes it more dramatic. I am going to leave those pretty close to where they were. Maybe a little bit more, and that looks pretty good. The only other thing I want to do is I think I'm going to increase the saturation a bit. we go all the way up, okay, that's a little much. Still a little much. That is looking pretty good. The blue in the sky is looking pretty nice. The blue over here is looking pretty nice. The greens are not too green. So that looks very good to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click OK. And I am going to go ahead and save the image. I'm going to use a save as so that I don't overwrite my original file. And I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to say Hawaii. Okay, and now if I look up here, I have Hawaii.jpg, and that we'll come back to later. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to put some nice text on here. Since it's coming up to the Christmas season, I'm just going to put some Merry Christmas on there, and for demo purposes, I'm going to add in some other text that will be kind of unique. But in order to do that, one thing about Faststone is in the drawboard, which we'll be using to do this, and this is at 100%, and I want it full screen, so I'm going to click over here. On the drawing board, there is a text function that we can use. So if I click on text, I hold down the left mouse button, and I select an area where I want my text. I can now type in what I want. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to increase the size of the text. I'm just going to say Merry Christmas. Well, that's not looking very good. We can get rid of that background by coming down here and clicking on it. So now I just have Merry Christmas. And we can move that around. And the only adjustments I have to the text, I can change the color and I can add a drop shadow. And of course I can also change up here, I can change the font. And for a lot of things that's just fine. But I want some fancy text. Now I want to outline the text with black. I maybe want to have a gradient in the color or something like that. So I'm going to show you a neat website. Okay, I'm going to X out of here. I'm just going to delete this this text box, and we're done. I'm going to just cancel that out. I'm going to hit my escape key. Exit out of Faststone. Actually, I'm just going to minimize it. And there's a cool website. If I open up my web browser, there's a cool website where you can create logos, create text in fancy fonts, and it's called Cool Text. So I'm going to open that up. And Cool Text has a multitude of different fonts and different styles that you can choose to make fancy text. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose one. Let's choose legal, for instance. And I'm going to type in here Merry Christmas. And I can change the color. If I come over here to I got a new line there. Okay, I want to come over to logo, and it allows me to pick a text color. So if I click on that, and I am going to click up here on red, and I'm going to click in the box for the shade of red that I want. Just going to click on that. Okay, now I've got red. Over here, my highlight color, red and green are Christmas colors, so I'm going to click on green, and we're going to choose green. Okay, now we've got a little tint of green up here in the corner. The other thing we can do, we want a font that's just a little bit nicer than that. And so I happen to know that if I go to the Elegant and this one right here, which is called King's Things, and click on that, now I got a fancy text. Okay, that's pretty good. Now all I need to do is go ahead and make the text size a little bit bigger for a full-size image like we're using there with Faststone. Actually, a text size of about 350 will work very well. If you have a smaller image, say that's maybe 2,000 pixels wide, you can come down and make it about half that, maybe 100, 150. All right. So now we have created our Merry Christmas text, and all we need to do now is come down and click on Create Logo, and then click up here on Download Image. We'll click Download Image, and now it is downloading the image here, and it doesn't give us a way to select where we're going to download it, so it puts it in the default download folder of the browser. And so if I click on this down arrow here and then click Show on Folder, it'll tell me where it's downloading it, and it's downloading it here to my Downloads folder. Okay, so that's how you can create this this neat text. So I'm just going to exit out of here. I have already done some text, and I've already downloaded them. I already have them saved. So we're going to come back over here to Faststone Image Viewer, and we're going to open that up. And we're going to open up our Hawaii image, and we're going to add that text in here. So what we want to do is we want to come over to our draw board again. And again, we want the screen to be filled up with the whole image. So I'm going to click here. And this icon right here allows you to add an image into the photo. It says watermark image. It was originally designed so that you could add a watermark to your images, but it also works in a way that you can import any kind of an external file. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click on that, and I've already downloaded some Christmas click art, and I already have my Merry Christmas text here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click Open. Then I'm going to move my cursor to where I want that text to start, and I am going to left click. And there is my Merry Christmas. I can make this bigger. Say, oh, like about that. If I left click and move the mouse while I'm holding the left button down, I can move this Merry Christmas over. And if I want to stretch this, all I need to do is come up here and grab this handle, hold down the left mouse button, and should be able to hold that left mouse button down and just stretch that out. So now I have my Merry Christmas. The other thing I'm going to do is I am going to come back over here. I have another text file, this one, which I am going to open up, and I'm going to place it right here, and I'm going to move it here, say down to about here. And it says it's a Hawaiian Christmas party. Hop on a plane and come. The party will start when you arrive. And of course, all the empty chairs and the tables here, look like the party is about to begin, but no guests have arrived yet. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to add some clip art in there and make this look a little bit more Christmassy. And you can go online in the article that I've written for the BOF, the November-December issue. I've got some links in there where you can go and download some of this clip art. I've already done it, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open this up, and you can see I've got some different images here. I'm going to open this one up by left clicking. I'll click open, and I'm going to put it about right here. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to hang these off of the tree so that it looks like we've got some Christmas ornaments there. Okay, I'm going to move this over a bit. That looks pretty good. See what else we've got here. How about a present? We'll open that up, and I'm going to click, and there it is. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this present, I'm going to put it right over here on the table. Present's waiting for somebody. See what else we got. Okay, just a couple of decorations here. I'm going to take this one, open it up, and I'm just going to put it over here. Okay, now if you come down here, you can see where it says drop shadow. If I click on drop shadow, and you notice up here now we have a drop shadow. And I'm also going to take that. I'm going to put another one of those over here on the other side. Okay, click open. I'm going to put it over here. And I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger than that one, just for the fun of it. So I'm going to drag this out. So this is kind of wrapping around the start of Merry Christmas. Okay. And you can see it's already got a drop shadow on it, so it remembered. Now that's looking pretty good. I think we've got just about everything there. So this could be an invitation that I could print out on a on some photo paper, or it could be a greeting card. I could take it to Walmart, or put it on a Walmart Christmas card that you can have them print up fairly inexpensively. And you can send that out. So I'm just going to click OK. It's merging all of the images. So now we have one nice image. What I'm going to do is one last thing. I always like to sharpen my picture up a bit. So right here I'm going to click on sharpen. And I'm going to increase the sharpening, and watch here around the letters. Okay, I'm going to move this up. If I move it up too far, you can see how there's a white outline. That is too much. I want to sharpen it up just to the point where you can just barely see that white outline coming in. And you can do this with your images. If you've got a blog and you post images on your blog, and the images are reduced in size so that they're small on the page, what you want to do is you want to resize the image before you put it on the blog, and then you want to sharpen it, and you'll be amazed at how much better your blog image will look. So, if you open up your image with Faststone, you come over here and you just do a quick resize, resample, your images are going to probably be, 640 by 480 or 400 by 300. If you click on one of these, it will resize your image. Here, just let me click on one. I'll show you. Say 320. Okay. Now, here's the image, which is very small. It's about the right size for a blog. And you can go ahead and sharpen that image up now if you wanted to sharpen it up a little bit more. However, I don't want that. I want the full-size image, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press the control, hold the control, tap the Z key, and undo that so that we're back where we were. Okay, so all I need to do now is go ahead and save the image. So I'm going to save as, and I'm just going to call this Hawaii Invitation. Actually, I think I misspelled that. And I'm a terrible speller. Invitation. That looks a little better. It might still be misspelled. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. I usually like to save my quality at 100%. So if I come over here, I'm just going to move this slider up to 100%. With a JPEG image, every time you save it, if you open a JPEG and close it 10 times, it's going to lose resolution. And if you're at 95%, it's going to lose resolution a lot faster than if it's at 100%. So I like to save them at 100%. And I'm just going to go ahead and save that. The only time you may not want to save that at 100% is if you have reduced your image in size because you're going to put it on your blog. You might want to save it at 70 or 80%. So that when you put it on your web page, it'll take up a lot less memory on the viewer's computer. Okay, so that's it. I hope this has helped you, and give Faststone a try. It's a pretty capable image editor, and there are just tons more features than I showed today. I mean, if I showed you all the features, I could probably do a 2-hour video easily. There's so many features in this program. Thanks for watching.